welcome back to the Pen and Ink Well. I've got some inks for you today. I haven't reviewed an awful lot of inks, but however I was very fortunate, or I have been very fortunate to be sent a sample of some Montblanc inks. Up until now I only had one Montblanc ink in my collection, that was the Midnight Blue that I bought a couple of years ago. But the pen shop, who've been speaking to a colleague of mine, Scribble, that I work with and collaborate with on the United Inkdom site, managed to speak to them, and they have sent us a full collection of the Montblanc inks. Not bottles, however, how wonderful would that be? There were 2 bottles, however we've had some cartridges of all the other inks that are currently available now and easily on sale here in the UK and through their stores. However, what I've done, I can't do this all in one. What I would usually do when I'm reviewing inks is write with them at the time and let you see me write with them, use my glass dip pen. I actually broke my glass dip pen, or no, I didn't break it, it broke while I was using it today, which I was a bit gutted about. While I was preparing this video. So what I've done is, because there are so many of them, I've written them out and prepared them, so I've got them written out and then a colour swab, done with the cotton buds and everything, so you can just see them and I'll just talk you through them. I'll turn the camera around so you can just see as an example, so you know what these inks are like and how they sort of compare. I'll give you my opinion on how they write. I've had a few of them, been using a couple of them within pens, and how they sort of write as far as saturation is concerned and so on. But at least it'll give you an idea of the colours, saturation, how well behaved they are, and then we'll go from there. So I'll see you back shortly in 2 seconds. Bye. Thank you very much for coming back and having a look at these. As I said, Montblanc inks. I've been very fortunate to be sent... Sorry, I'm just reaching over to get these bottles actually. Some inks to look at, and I wanted to give you an opportunity to sort of see the different colours and how they sort of look in case you were sort of considering buying any of these. So as I said, I already owned Midnight Blue, and this is the Montblanc bottles. They are beautifully packaged, these inks. They are 60 mils of inks and they are beautifully packaged, as you see from there. And this is how they look then once you take them out. So I have 3 bottles. I have Mystery Black, I have Oyster Blue, and I have Midnight Blue. Mystery Black and Oyster Grey was sent to me by the pen shop. I already had Midnight Blue. Black inks I very, very rarely write with. They are there for official documents, and that pretty much that is it, or things that I want to sort of just keep for consistency, so there isn't any, it's a black ink, and that's it, so there isn't any sort of ambiguity. So I use it sometimes when I'm making notes of all the inks that I have and things like that. But other than that, I always write with colour. I love blue inks, I like bright blue inks, I like green inks, I like sort of burgundy, sort of red inks. I really want to like brown inks, but for some reason or another, I don't. It's a really bizarre thing. I don't. I want to like them and I write with them and I go, bleh. But anyway, that's me digressing. So what I was sent were 2 bottles, as I said, Mystery Black and Oyster Grey. And then I was also sent little packets like this, 2 little packets like this, that included 2 of each colour ink that they currently have available to buy in international cartridge form. I now only have 1 of each left because I used the others to create this sample. So at least I got to be able to see those. Price wise, these bottles, really good value, so £12.50 these bottles, and they are very sturdy bottles, very heavy bottles. I think they are extremely attractive to look at. As far as, sort of ink bottles go. The permanent inks though, they do a permanent blue and a permanent black, and they are £20 rather than the £12.50s. So all the non-permanent inks, the colours, are £12.50. Cartridges, for 8 cartridges, international cartridges this size, and they come in a really nice case actually. They're just £4.25, and again for the permanent colours they're a little dearer, it's £6.25. So these are the colours that are available that we have right now. Just using my William Hanna notebook here for you to have a look. So I've put them all down. I did this with my dip pen. I apologise as I got down here because my dip pen cracked and it got a bit sort of scratchy, but I sort of had to find a way of continuing forward with it. So we have the Mystery Black. As far as I'm concerned, it is a standard black ink. It writes very well. All of these behave very well. They are not an overly wet ink at all. They're not dry. They are, I would say, if you're looking for a well-behaved ink, then this is it. You know, they're a go-to sort of ink that isn't going to sort of upset any pens or anything like that. Mystery Black, I've just put in a very cheap sort of pen with an extra fine nib to just sort of use for marking. Oyster Grey, I have had that recently in my TWSBI Vac Mini, and I've really enjoyed writing with it. It's like writing, it makes it look as if you're writing with pencil, and I do like that grey, and particularly as I've also had a pen inked with a pink ink, and using those together, the grey and the pink really works very well. Midnight Blue, a blue black, a very typical sort of blue black that's got a nice sort of, when writing with it, it's quite a saturated, very dark blue. The swab here sort of, you know, makes it to be a very sort of blue black ink. The Royal Blue, True Blue with a hint of, you'll see a hint of violet, I would say, within that. The Lavender Purple, not what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be much lighter than it is. I was expecting it to be the colour of lavender, really, you know, a lighter sort of colour, but it is a very dark purple. I don't dislike it, but it isn't what I was hoping it was going to be. I know some of my colleagues actually really sort of quite like this. Corn Poppy Red, pretty bright red, you know, it's got a slight orange tone to it, I found. There's some nice shading I found with that as well. Very similar to the Waterman Red, I found. The Burgundy, for me, it's a bit dull, I would sort of say. The swab sort of gives it a bit of a, it dries with this sort of pink undertone to it. I think there are nicer burgundies out there, if I'm going to be brutally honest. The Toffee Brown, again, I look at it and I love it. I want to use brown inks, but I write with them and they do nothing for me. It is, though, however, does have some very nice shading that I really like. Irish Green, it's been around for a long time, I've read a lot about it. Standard, nice sort of green ink, and I quite like, it's slightly darker, but it isn't sort of, you know, it isn't too dark. It is a bright grass, I would sort of say, green. And then the two permanent colours here. Permanent Blue, it is different from the Royal Blue. It's a it's less saturated. That's a more saturated blue, I would say. It's got a lot more punch to it. This is a little duller, and then the Permanent Black, pretty much identical. I suppose there's nothing more to say really about those. I think they're very good value bottles of ink, and they are very nice. They are safe inks that I would consider using without any issue. Are there any that I'd run out and buying now? No, probably not. There probably aren't any that I would choose to add to my collection. I'm pleased with the ones that I have. I'm pleased with having the cartridges. Maybe after writing a little while, maybe I'll sort of look at it from there, but I don't look at any of these and go, do you know what, I need that in my collection. There's nothing, unfortunately, there's nothing to sort of write home about with it. But they are very good value. So if you're looking for a standard blue ink, if you're looking for a standard red ink, the Irish Green, if you look at, they are nice inks. However, they're not ones that you're going to rush out and go, I need that. There isn't a huge sort of difference to it. Probably for me, the one that stands out more than any is the Lavender Purple. As I said, not what I was expecting it to be, but it is still a nice colour ink that is a little different from, you know, the rest. So let me know what you think. If there's any other inks you'd like me to have a look at, again, let me know. Other than that, thank you very much for joining me. Please subscribe to my channel, leave me a comment, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.